Everybody, good morning. Today is January 22nd, 5:52 a.m. over on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. Taking a look today at Tesla stock. Tesla did something that we were thinking it could possibly do. It looks like it just about completed that on Friday. So we're going to jump into that on the charts and then perhaps a couple other scenarios that could take place moving forward. Something real quick here though. Looking over my YouTube analytics, looks like 92% of my viewers are not yet subscribed to the channel. So if you could hit that subscribe button if you're into this content, futures, crypto, Tesla, stock ETFs, you name it, we will be covering some videos about it, XRP. So if you're into these videos and you watch them, consider subscribing to this channel. Okay, back to Tesla. So yesterday, the 21st of January, Tesla was down on the day, $52.37. Trading, looks like we closed yesterday at $943.90. Market was ugly yesterday. And Tesla is now below that $1,000 benchmark right there. So what did Tesla do yesterday? Well, we had mentioned in some prior videos, there's this price gap shown right there on my chart. And that price gap, let me put another arrow here for you. That price gap is... the low of that price gap would be $939.50, and the high of that price gap would be $957.05. So I'll zoom in a little further here for you, and you can see, and what I mean by a price gap, if you're not familiar with it, is where the price closes on one day to where it opens up another day. There's no stock traded in that range. It gaps up and opens up at a much higher price. And that can happen both to the downside as well. Another example of a price gap is you can actually see right here. So between December 31st and January 3rd, which was the first trading day for 2022, we had a price gap. That was a big day for Tesla. Tesla closed up $143 that day. It was big. I remember it. I was watching it all day. So you might be asking yourself, who cares? What does this have to do with Tesla, the stock, blah, blah, blah. So when these stocks create price gaps, there's another one right over here. You can see we closed on October 22nd to October 25th. We closed the day here at 909, and it looks like the stock opened up at 950. So there was a big old price gap there. So let me remove some of these arrows here from the chart. So the price gap back between December 21st and December 22nd, price gaps at some point in time usually go back and get filled. And getting filled means they'll trade either up to that gap price again or down to that gap price again. And yesterday, we traded just about down to that price gap created on December 21st and December 22nd. So I mentioned the high of this price gap would be... actually, it would be the low of this price gap would be $939.50. So yesterday we traded all the way down. This is yesterday's bar. Yesterday we traded all the way down to $940.50. So we hit a bottom tick yesterday of $940.50, and this price gap would have been at $939.50. So we came within $1 of filling that price gap. I mean, we mentioned this in a video a few days ago that if Tesla continues to move down, some of the areas that you could look for price to potentially bounce would be, let me move some of these arrows from the chart, would be here at this price gap of 939.50. That was one of the scenarios that we had mentioned. The other was if we undercut this low here on January 10th and don't bounce from there, we're probably heading lower, and lower means to go fill this gap here. So I would not be surprised if we see a bounce here in Tesla, but it really depends on what the NASDAQ does. So it looks like we filled the gap, so that is a good sign. There's a decent amount of fear in the market. Some of the sentiment indicators aren't really showing that, but I have seen some fear in some other places, and here's people talking. I don't think there's quite as much fear in the stock market as there is in the cryptocurrency markets. So that's a good sign that we filled the gap over there. We came within $1. That could be good enough here for Tesla, but it depends on the NASDAQ. The markets are short-term anyways, very oversold, but time will tell. So that is good to see. Let's go back to the scenario that Tesla doesn't bounce here and we continue lower. Next area that you want to really look for that's important is this low right here. And this low is on December 21st, and that price is $886.12. If we undercut that low, well, it could be two things. It could be a shakeout, or it could spell that we're heading much lower down to the 200-day. So we will see. But filling the gap that I had mentioned on December 21st and December 22nd is really good to see. And we closed a little bit off the bottom. The low was 940.50, and we closed at 943.90. So up a little bit off the lows. That's good to see. Tesla is flirting with some bearish territory here. So we will see if we get confirmation next week and the prices do continue lower. But since we filled that gap, or at least within $1, this low here on December 21st is another area to look for a potential stopping support area for Tesla. Maybe we will do something like this where we will trade down below that price and then close up above it for the day. That would be a good sign to see. If we close below it, an area where stocks can find support is right here at the 200-day moving average. This is easy to put on your chart. I would recommend doing it. The other moving averages I have on my chart, which you could see are now overhead resistance, are the green one, which is the 50-day, and then the 21-day moving average, which is shown in blue right here. So just a quick little video on Tesla. Short-term stuff is we have the gap that got filled between December 21st and December 22nd. That is good to see. If we do not stop here, this low on December 21st is our next area that we could potentially find support at before moving higher. If that gets undercut, like I said, it's down to the 200-day shown in red on my screen. So keep your eye on that December 21st low. If we don't bounce from this gap fill that we filled on Friday, and if that doesn't hold, then potentially we're heading lower into the 200-day moving average. So clicking over here to the Fear and Greed Index, the CNN Fear and Greed Index, we're sitting at 43. Yeah, we're into fear territory, but this thing can go way, way, way lower before we get severe bottoms. So who knows? Doesn't mean we won't bounce from here, but this is indicating there's really not much fear in the market. The VIX was up 12% on Friday, closing at 28.85. So we're getting some volatility in the markets. Any of those options sellers, there's definitely an increase in premium in the markets. So we will see. A VIX of 30 is pretty high. So we will see. What did we hit a high here? Yeah, we got very close to 30, it looks like. So, all right, everybody, that's just some of my thoughts here on Tesla. It was good to see that we filled that gap. I had mentioned that it's since we're already trading down in this area, if we can go fill that gap before moving higher, that's probably a better thing, because if we didn't fill the gap and Tesla did move higher, it would only be a matter of time until it came all the way back down to this levels, fill the gap before moving higher. So since we took care of that now, let's see if it holds or if it undercuts that December 21st low. If it does that, probably head into the 200-day, and there's probably much more trouble in our future. So we will see. All right, everybody, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing to this channel if you want to see more videos on Tesla and other stock market products, the micro futures. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and have a great weekend. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.